you know what? If I can, there's acceptable losses and there's the cause of Star Trek. And if you could join me, you minimize YouTube's ability to stomp on my message, which is what they're trying to do. Which is why anybody who can do it, tweet out the stream. And we got a great episode on deck for you first. As you can see from the description of this stream, and hello to X and everyone else. The first episode is called Unexpected. And the description says Florida man does bath salts and wakes up to find out he's pregnant. Germ, did I capture that well?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Real quick, Gavin Blackburn, Jonathan Davis, Max Redstone, Mark Harkness, Jonathan Davis, DJ Play Nice, wee, Lombardi 69, so good to see you, Mark Harkness, DJ Play Nice, Gavin, I think I said, did I get everybody? Gorilla's Random Thoughts in the chat and here on the panel, Radioactive, my good friend, guys. Jonathan Davis, did I get you? Everybody, hello to all. Anybody lurking, hello to you. Anyone who comes through later, we're going to try to chapter this so that you can get the commentary before and after if you don't want to watch the watch party part. And let's talk. Star Trek Enterprise, Broken Bow, we enjoyed it. So far, every episode has trended up from how people remember it. Germ, in your opinion, what do we got going on here with Unexpected as far as an average Star Trek episode? Does it deliver what we need from Star Trek? What do you think?
Oh, mostly, yeah. It has a little bit of humor to it, with Trip being his average dumbass self.
More than a little.
Other than that, it is very, very Star Trek.
It actually is very, very Star Trek. If there's one flaw, it's like, why are they fixing other people's stuff when they're supposed to be inept, right? They're already like, we got to send over Trip. And he's like, golly gee, I'm Florida man. So while Florida man's over there, like, he's good with fixing and tinkering with things. But like, he puts his hands in a bowl of like space bath salts with this alien who's like kind of female. And he just, ended up like having some sort of like, it was more like a benign parasite than a pregnancy, and they make sure to say that. But we have fun by making a man pregnant. He acts like a pregnant human female in a stereotypical and humorous way. We get into tropes that must drive New Trek absolutely crazy, even to this day. And I would just say, if we had only known what we could have done, if we could have gotten over the choice of the theme song, you know what? I would be absolutely thrilled. And let me see. I just heard. Gorilla popped out and popped back in. I'm sorry. I'm producing the stream as well. I usually have someone else who can do the control, so I might be a little behind tonight.
No, that's not a problem. I just clicked the wrong tab.
Oh, okay.
Exit out of.
Can you do me a favor and just keep track of anybody who might come in who I missed, guys, and say hi to them for me so that I can do this and kind of talk about the episode. And Germ, like you said, they delivered a fairly good Star Trek episode. This one, I would say you said a little bit of comedy. I'm going to go a little further. What do you think? They're cognizant of the X-Files, and in this one, we get a great deal of comedy. Actually, this is an outright comic episode. It masquerades as real Star Trek, but once it becomes comic, it gets really comic, but it's subtle.
Yeah, subtle. I'd say it's outside of the novelty of a pregnant guy, which isn't really a novelty anymore, unfortunately, especially where I live.
Now you know why YouTube punishes us.
A little bit of humor to it.
All right, guys. The first question in the poll, and then we'll ask questions about hey, Mr. House Party 6. We'll ask some more questions later, but about grading the episode. But is Enterprise in general better than you remember? And people who've been watching it have been saying that they do enjoy the show more on the second viewings. And this is the one thing I would ask everybody to do before we pile into the theater to watch Florida Man do his thing. But if you could be so kind as to tweet out that we're live and get as many people here, because tonight's stream, I did not use. And hey, DJ Play Nice, I hope I got everybody. But listen, tonight's stream, I did not use any tags. I did not use any cross promotion, but word of mouth. I'm trying to fly under the radar of the bots, and we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, guys. Grassroots. If you can help me, likes really help. Watching me and just having the episode on another device, with that really helps. Leaving the room to hang out with me for as long as possible when you can also really helps. But like YouTube, basically last week they couldn't explain what happened, and they couldn't explain why the BotStorm streams have these problems. I won't bore you with what I had to go through, but the explanation was kind of funny. It was how I was dressed. They sent me information on how to make thumbnails that are less provocative. So somehow, by being so successful, I was unsuccessful. I don't know what to tell you. My argument has been, I have a really good product. I'm showing people Star Trek stories that flew under the radar. Gorilla, did you watch the show? Or I guess it was like you were pretty young, but you might have been at the magical Star Trek age.
My mom, like, I never had control of the TV. My mom always had control of the TV, and what it was is she liked watching the occasional TNG there or the original Star Trek.
Okay,
so that's the one I grew up on.
Yeah. So not Enterprise.
Right.
That's cool. I gotta be honest. It's probably typical that a lot of people who were original Star Trek fans were a little bit disdainful of Enterprise for a number of reasons. One of which being that like Enterprise just they kind of got instructed not to be Star Trek, and they try to do it without doing it, and like they're not making any people happy, because what they do is a pretty superficial change to where they have sort of they get a pop song up front, which has become like just something that everyone is disdainful. It wasn't as terrible then as it turned out to be. The lyrics of the song kind of suit the show, but everyone hated it. No one wanted that in their Star Trek show. It's a Star Trek show in denial of being Star Trek. The show is still called Enterprise. Jerem, do you know when we go to Star Trek Enterprise season 3?
I believe it's season 3.
Which is our Xindi arc. We talked about this this morning. Season 3 is our Xindi arc. This episode that we're going to watch now is, I believe we've gotten finally out of September into like mid-October of 2001. But like, a certain event with sequential non-sequential numbers like 9, 11. It's okay, I guess, to say it. I don't know. YouTube hates me anyway. But 9/11 had happened, and people were like, kind of. This Star Trek show distracted me from it. Like, I was able to turn off the news. I was able to like tune out for an hour what had happened. And because I live in New York, I guess unless you lived in like DC or Shanksville, like maybe it was a little different for you. Around the country, individual airline and passengers, of course. But friends lost. Very very tough for me. So I have fond memories of Enterprise. I was just like, it's a Star Trek show. I'll take it. I was so happy to see it, but. We have no Delta symbols yet, do we? Do we ever see them?
I don't think so.
No, I don't remember.
I wonder if we do. I think we see them on their hat. I think the Enterprise baseball hat has them, because what we have here is functional jumpsuits, and they wear like believable from our world baseball hats. And hello to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Hit those like buttons if you could. It really helps. We're going to start the live view in a little while. This week's episode, again, as we said, was and hello back and Don. This week's episode, as I said, is called Unexpected, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a play on the word expected. This episode's 20 some odd years old, 25 years old. There's no real spoilers on this before we watch it, but I won't ruin too much. We kind of gave a little bit away, but yeah, Florida man does bath salts to find himself pregnant would definitely be what the TV guide would have told you if it could have been honest, but it basically had to give that away. Built into the DNA of this show is that a man is going to be pregnant. But here's the thing. Like, this episode, I don't know. I just watched most of it again for like the 4th time or 5th time. I don't know that it's judgmental. I don't know if it's finger wagging. I don't know if there's much politics in here. I don't know if there's anything in here. They don't go for much at all, except that he has some hormonal issues. It's strange new life. It's fascinating to all of them. He has a few comical moments, and this one, I think they were cognizant of the X-Files trying to be purely comic in an episode. You tell me, Jer.
I
This
never
was
saw
an
that
X-Files
connection.
episode. Well, sometimes in a Star Trek episode that's a little too weird can have an X-Files like aspect to it, but that's because, in my opinion, some like the X-Files kind of came out of certain Star Trek episodes, like Assignment Earth. Here we go. Episode 1 of tonight's view is episode 5, but it's really story 4 because Broken Bow is one story in 2 episodes. And we're going to be human again in Star Trek, and we're going to try to reinstill our sense of wonder. Germ, I believe that was part of the mission. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, wonder and everything was definitely where they were going for, especially since the whole 9/11 thing happened. They pushed back the Zindi stuff.
Well, what I think what happened was there was a shuffling of seasons and storylines where the Zindi arc, and wow, nice to see everybody here. We are so pleased to see all of you, and all of you over on X. We're going to see your comments here, so go ahead and make them. And I will be going through the weird little peephole that X gives me so that I can give you guys also a look in at the Cosme. If you can all give me 1 second to do that little producing trick, I want our X friends to be included because ignore our new audience at X to your peril. But you know what? I love you guys too, and it took me a long time to figure out the strange, Byzantine, and I'll call it stupid way that X makes me communicate with you, and it is, of course, not exactly working tonight. So I'm going to go into my X feed, try to find what's going on. I think I see it. So here's what I'm going to do my best for you. As I open that up and look at it, I don't see a place to put comments. So just below that, there'll be another tweet. Gorilla, you said the earliest Star Trek was your first. Cyrus, any memories of this episode where we're going to see a Florida man do bath salts and get pregnant by mistake?
I have no comment with those exact words having been said.
There are absolutely no tags or anything. We didn't put, if you notice, we didn't put Star Trek in the title. This is like your secret show for you guys. So I hope you're all having a good time. Where's Princess Fiona? I haven't seen her. Is she in the chat? I'm going to have to X her. Anyway, here we go. That sounds dirty. But here we go. This episode of Enterprise, Season 1, Episode 5, Unexpected. I'm at 000 of this 45-minute and 18-second episode. Let me turn on the subtitles. We're going to use American. Unfortunately, they mislabel American as English. We don't speak English. I do not harbor any favorites in the way my behavior reflects in the way I speak. As far as I think that when I speak in much shorter, more efficient words. But you know what? If you're from England, welcome to, and we're so glad you're with us. It's a huge Star Trek market. Hi, Edge of Time. And Star Trek is a worldwide phenomenon. I'll try to get to as many of the questions and show as many of the hails as I can. But hey, we got a Star Trek show to watch, and we love that you're all with us. And here we go for everybody watching later. Again, Season 1, Episode 5, going on 3, 2, 1, and engage. So this is kind of cool.
This one
we give
sucked.
the ladies a little something.
This one sucked. You're in the shower, then all of a sudden you start floating.
But it's cool as hell, and it shows why they have sound wave showers after this, doesn't it?
Sonic showers.
Yeah. I just wanted to make it clear.
It's a great effect for 2001.
It really is. It makes you wish he had a handle like an old person in the stall. He's lucky he didn't break a hip. come alive at last. Sing with us. And I will touch the sky. And I'm not gonna hold me back no more. No, they're not gonna change my mind. 'Cause I got faith of the heart. Going
Please,
where
my
my heart
ears.
will take me. I've got faith to believe I can do anything. I've got strength of the soul. No one's gonna bend or break me. I can reach any star. I got faith. I got faith. Faith of the heart. All right. This week it was my turn.
What the hell does polarizing the hull plating even do?
All right, so this I think comes from Voyager, right? After their
Yeah.
shields are down, they're like, "What can we do?" And they're like, "We can polarize the hull," and so they do it.
It's basically a magnetic
Magnets.
field.
I think that's the implication. You know what they do? They keep it secret, keep it safe. They don't explain it too much. Oh, you're returning to a dangerous away mission in time for the first of two episodes, one of which I know he's expressed mild contempt for, is my good friend and co-founder of this channel. You know him. You love him. It's PB. Hey,
Howdy.
howdy.
Hey there.
Tonight's plan is a little more
There you go.
complicated than the usual watch party, but there will be fun.
Sounds good. I do like this episode. I liked how weird the aliens were.
I like how weird
Well-
the parts go.
They remind me of sea creatures in a lot of way. I feel like sometimes Star Trek piles all of its weirdest ideas into only a handful of species, but the end result is still pretty good.
I was told that the thumbnail is the reason we got bot swarmed last week by YouTube.
Why is that?
I don't know, but I said I literally typed back, "Are you telling me it was the way I was dressed?" Well, I
You
didn't
weren't
know
in
what
uniform?
else to say. But my thumbnail was so appealing that people had to come swarm my channel. I was like, "Look at that analytic and tell me that's not
Your
artificially
ship is
influenced."
trailing mines. Yeah.
They're like, "We're sorry." I'm like, no one needs to be sorry. We had one of the most interesting debates. I mean, if that's the worst fight I ever had, I'm the luckiest YouTuber of all.
And March 15th, never forget.
And Don, I'm sorry that I have to hide a little bit. Everyone should make sure they're still subscribed. I have to fly under the bot radar. We could be here any minute, but the good news is we have a plan, which is ride it out for the rest of the episode and then move to room 2.
They did that like sort of fake slow-mo to show how his head's not adapting to the atmosphere, and they've got fish on their
Yeah.
ship, see? They got eels.
Yes, they have electric eels to
Eels.
propel the ship. They
Yeah.
have an eel drive. Yes. You know what? I turn on the dating apps when I'm in neighborhoods I'd like to move in so I can date my way out of poverty.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of showing how disoriented he is.
Oh, yeah. You know, Jonathan Davis is right. Somehow they look more complicated and yet less complicated than other Trek aliens. Hey, Nerdporial, what's going on? Everybody,
Hello.
Hey,
talk about
Nerdporial.
Nerdporial life form. Get everybody, give Nerdporial, drop your link in the chat. You'll love this guy's stuff. He's great. How you liking that House of the Dragon season 2? Kind of a little slower, right, buddy?
I think the reason their design is more and less complicated is because it's more integumentary. Like it's more about the detail of the skin than it is about adding different structure. Like they don't have like insane brow ridges or like their cheekbone connected to their nose or some shit, but they have like a different skin quality. It's like scales. I think that's what it is.
Somebody did so many weird aliens that one day when they were making some of those aliens, it didn't work out. In Voyager, at one point, like two different kinds of makeup hit the floor at the same time, and two substances mixed together, and they came up with something brand new that they used to make
Rhesus.
aliens that are like the Suliban and these aliens. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like we could just
Yeah.
change the texture of human skins completely. Or someone had a fucking revolutionary idea.
Yeah.
It makes the aliens relatable, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's less in the way of the face. Yeah.
Yeah, there really is. Like when you just change the skin texture and leave the person most of the use of their face, although these are a little bit of forehead alien stuff going on, but it's not insane.
It's not in the way. It's not distracting.
But also, it doesn't get past the point where you're like, that many cranial ridges wouldn't protect you much more than, it's a believable amount. Unless the Klingons have space skeletons, right?
Well, the
No,
human
would they
skull
have
is
an
thickest in all
episode?
the human
Would they-
skull is thickest in all the places that you're most likely to get punched in. That's an evolutionary adaptation.
Except your balls.
Maybe other aliens are just more punch happy.
But you know what? Honestly, I'm just going to say something here. PDB,
Yes.
Germ, is it just me, or is this actress hired because she was pretty good looking as far as her figure?
Not
the figure
not a bad
definitely
assumption.
helps.
Definitely.
And the thing is, like, we're smart enough to know that, but the show, it's Star Trek enough to make her an alien, right? And kind of still use the fact, like, that her human traits are figure. And, like, I'm not really grossed out that Trip wants to hang with her. And
Yeah.
this was kind of a cool little thing here. Jordan, what do you think of the gelatinous water, or like the electric ice cubes she's giving him?
It's a good touch. And I think with the figure, they need some sort of excuse for Trip doing what he does.
Well, that's her
maybe they're all
roofies.
Feels
That's
too.
the alien
Yeah.
roofies right there.
It's the space reviews. Honestly,
Maybe
in
maybe the aliens are evolved electric eels too. They got eels in their ship, so maybe that's why they can zap things too. They're related.
I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you guys here, and
It'd be
I've
like
had
us
this
having a
comment
pet
in
monkey.
a long time. Let me get that comment. EDB, can you get the comment for me?
Yeah, you got it.
Star it for me so I know which one it was.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, champ. Do you think that the gelatinous water? Do you think that was like the sense of wonder guy? He was like, I've got an idea. How about when she feeds him something commonplace, it's still extraordinary? And they're like, great work, sense of wonder guy.
They've got their Crayola Rainbow Light Bright holodeck imager. It looks like a Lisa Frank
These
notebook.
guys have a holodeck, and they also have a cloaking device. But that, to our
Yeah.
Star Trek minds, it goes hand in hand. And like, look, they retest Vulcan, right?
Yeah. Like maybe a cloaking device really is just an inverse holodeck, right? Like it's a hologram on the outside of the ship, but it like bends light around.
Something
And
like
for-
that.
Yeah. It
For
could
Trip's
look like
perspective, yeah, from Trip's perspective, this is completely new and alien tech.
He's like
Like
freaking out, but they've got a holodeck, and it makes
Yeah.
total sense. And like I guess we don't see these aliens long enough. And of course, Florida Man doesn't ask them for the specs on a USB stick.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Anton. I do that shit all the fucking time. You're allowed. Yes, the Boudica discussion. And LDG
Yeah.
Free the Net is a great YouTuber. He's going to be releasing a statement and hostages soon. But he has a great program that he's going to try to introduce. Great app and algorithm. I don't know what's called, but it's a great thing. You're going to hear about it soon. Check out LDG Free the Net and check out his channel description. There's a chat room in there.
Dermal
That he has told
plating
me
for
to tell you
detecting
about
other
it.
people's moods. This episode does a really good job of making Trip a point of view character, and he's like very down to earth. So it really helps function as a sort of, you know, Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court type of thing, you know, like a fish out of water.
Are we deep enough into the show for me to make one political reference and say every time I see Robert F. Kennedy, all I can think of is Khan putting the creatures at the Chekhov's fucking ear ever since he told that goddamn story?
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
Hey,
it's like
is anybody else getting
I
some
was
Cosby
with that
vibes here?
as well, Jeff.
I don't see it.
My Cosby's working.
No, Cosby.
Oh no.
Oh no, he remains completely conscious.
And she doesn't really. This is supposed to be like a mind link. She has absolutely no clue
Yeah.
this is ever going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, she knows what it
Like,
is.
No, not
She's just
necessarily.
not
It's
working.
Well,
She
maybe
knows
that could
what
also
it
be the
is,
case.
but I just don't think that she ever like. I think what the things that happen here
it may just be an accidental.
are unforeseen. It's
Yeah.
unforeseen by her. She's done this.
I
with,
don't
like,
even think
Klingons
it's
and it didn't
necessarily
work.
just a sex thing for their own species. It could just as
No.
well be just a game, because she says she uses dermal plating to detect people's moods, and now she's doing it with him. She's detecting his moods using the bead things as an intermediary for, I guess, conducting the energy, right?
Hey, you know what? Condoms
I don't
are
know.
used for sex and to smuggle cocaine, so they could have two uses.
It's more like Twister then.
They're gonna steal his organs. They're gonna give him some new ones. They're not the Vidians. I forget what this race is called. I don't even know if I get their name.
Zyrillian.
Thank you. Way to go.
Zyrillian.
Good Star
Well, that's
Trek
close.
memory there, Gorilla.
In space,
Yeah,
everyone can hear you scream.
Phantom Outsider. I'm sorry I was a little behind on this one, but yeah, right? Sense of Wonder stuff. Damn it, Jim. Good to see you, Phantom Boober. He's too nice to work for Paramount. These aliens got TNG
Yeah.
tech. Yeah. The thing is, they have sub enterprise level engines. Their engines are nowhere near as good as the engines on the NX-01. They've got a cloaking device of limited use. It's only okay, and they've got a really good holodeck, and they have trip.
Yeah, they have
crystal.
different priorities. Maybe their
By the way, Rick,
maybe their
we're halfway
electric
through this
field
episode.
abilities. Maybe their ability to generate an electric field just kind of put them on a different tech path. You know, like they prioritized like manipulation of energy over going fast.
she's supposed to be kind of sexy, but she is supposed to creep you out a little bit too.
Yeah, there's a certain
like-
uncanniness.
Here's the thing: like she went over the line. Like she didn't, as Gorilla said, use. Well, I think we talked about it before. He's like, you mean the alien didn't use protection? I mean,
They just made a reference there to Quark's holodeck there, what it's used for.
No, readmitting to being a pervert.
I'm just gonna ask George Lucas. Do you think what the alien did with Trip is okay?
May have gone too far in a few places.
Interesting. So here we go for the first thing. I think he's expressed heightened sense of smell, and he's eating like a horse,
Yeah,
and he's got a weird pimple.
as much as this episode is a little bit of like a humiliation conga for Trip, or like a little bit of space hazing, he does make a good point of view character.
I gotta be honest.
American,
When he
in
starts talking
space.
about how he felt about being on the other ship and the way he felt
Yeah.
about being, there's no Federation, but I think they call it Starfleet. And he,
Yeah, no, they do. It's Starfleet, not yet the Federation. Yeah, Starfleet's just humans, equivalent of like the Air Force in space.
do you like how they're slightly scolding him here? Here we go. Yeah.
And he naturally assumes that Trip was 100% willing and went above
Yeah.
and beyond the call for first contact.
Well, no,
He
that's
has 8
no, that's
wives.
to Paul. That's to Paul that assumed that there's Trip on the line.
No one's had more sex than a doctor. He has 8 wives.
3.
Hey, Teag, that's not necessarily true because you know what food is the biggest turnoff to a woman? A wedding cake.
Yelling at the screen, top shelf Hollywood, baby. I love that. Unless you're roofied.
Trip is like remarkably casual about this. That's funny.
I like when he becomes prideful about how he's a professional. I was very, it's like, way to go, Florida man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a new Trek type of put the man down type of shit.
Paul already has a couple of problems with him having slept around, as it were.
Yeah. She didn't know better. I swear she was jealous.
It's almost like the two hot people want to get together because they're both hot. You notice how careful
Without
they are with
hurting
the
it,
dialogue,
it's like
by the way?
it almost goes without saying that they don't want to hurt it. Interesting.
They still
Oh,
right. I kind of like how they went at that again. They're depoliticizing this as much as they can. It's just supposed to be a referendum on, like, I guess, dating and parents more than
I don't even know if it's an allegory for something. It's just about Trip being careless or about humans in general being naive in contact.
This one is definitely like almost pure comedy.
Yeah.
He does not have an. I don't think he had it. It's wild that he doesn't get an STD.
It's crazy they'll set up an exposition scene in the mess hall and then expect it to stay secret.
And like an avatar of an Obi-Wan Kenobi I once loved and trusted. After another series of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, he's going to have Alec Guinness in there, man. If we have one more meltdown video in the car from Ewan McGregor, people are going to get a little bit sick of him.
Yeah.
That was how he could have been in a show that bad and been mad at the fans. And here's Trippy's all fussy and emotional.
It's funny how this episode is played as a comedy as well. When in season 3, there's the episode The Hatchery, where Archer kind of has the same thing going on. He develops a maternal instinct for an alien, but it's in that episode it's much more serious. It's more like a chain of command, is the captain fit for duty type of problem. And I guess the stakes are different, but it is ultimately the same core issue, which is interesting.
Your postnatal responsibility. You're not going to be a deadbeat dad, Trip. Star Trek will never say that now. Perhaps you should be a father to your children, Trip. No.
Yeah, it's not like there's any place to get rid of the kid.
4. Yeah. Or Charles Tucker the Fourth. So Quad, maybe? Is that what he'd call it? Ooh, Klingon battlecruiser. The Klingon battlecruiser kind of looks like a boppet.
You know what, though? It's not an insulting member, Barry, or dum-dum. I ain't got an issue with the way they did this.
I like how they up-resed it, you know? It looks very brutalist.
Yes, and it still looks like the ships that we expect to see, and not that next generation closer to TOS, but better detail.
Yeah. They got that really long neck. Imagine having to climb down. Do you think that long neck is an elevator going, a turbo lift going sideways, or is it a ladder, or is it a hallway?
I believe there's one of every variety. Hello, Deathbag, you little pirate. You made it. It's good to see you, buddy. This is probably like a D6 or some shit like that. Because remember, the
Yeah, looks
Klingons
like it.
have this ship. The Klingons have the ship, but the Romulans have the cloak, and that's why they start transferring technology during TOS.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Romulans had very good warp drive. Even in TNG, they don't have the same kind of warp drive. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, welcome to that Dev Mig.
This was a really good way of complicating the plot of the episode. Like, it didn't just go through with Trip being, knocked up. It ended up having another convolution in the plot. This is an interesting way to do that.
I got to ask a question,
more to
PDB.
it.
I know.
What's up?
I because the show is about we tend to focus on DePaul when we watch the show. Do you think Teag's intense Trek show is a fitting anagram for the show? A fitting acronym for the show, rather. You like that? Welcome to Teag's intense Trek show. I didn't even put Trek in it. I put like brackets around the R. We are like, we're the cloak ship now.
We need a Borg character called 8 out of 85, so the acronym looks like boobs.
By the way, we're 7 minutes from last week's Event Horizon. What do you think is going to happen?
Damn. John Glenn versus the Space Orcs.
Mark Harkness, these probably are D ships of a lower number. They just have the same silhouette. They have no idea who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Not only are they kind, but try sticking your hand into some bath salts with them, guys.
That's what they should. That would have been a funny way to trick the Klingons. Yeah. And here's to Paul repping for Archer.
We're calling back to Broken Bow.
Yeah. She's
full of lies.
She's hyping him up. She's hyping him up.
She's doing the job.
Yeah. So now the Klingons have holograms and Starfleet still doesn't? Or holodeck?
Well, they have the paperwork for it, but you try giving a nuclear reactor to a caveman and see how long it takes him to figure it out.
Yeah, true. Or see how long it takes to build a warp reactor from watching a ship go to warp an atmosphere.
We want to be strong.
We look for things that make us go.
How funny is that? It's an actual, fun joke with gender. He's like, he talks too much because he's pregnant and emotional. Finding it hard to believe we're in Car.
It looks like a big old pleonasm.
You know what? If this is really good, like they lean into us knowing the Klingons better than the Trek people, and it's fun.
It's some dramatic irony. Yeah.
What? Well, they don't have the coordinates to your planet, so why not? But I would be like, here is a holographic simulation of Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Why would you give them your capital?
Well, he's not smart. He lives in the capital, so he chose the capital.
And
He
by
wants
the
to see his
way,
house
like,
from there.
Florida man doesn't ask them about their weapons, doesn't ask them about anything except their propulsion, doesn't ask them about their.
He's very
Doesn't
focused.
try to. Why not just say, can I get this holotech on a USB stick?
I like how the area over the blastocyst, I guess, is slowly modeling, turning the color of her skin.
It's
It looks like
interesting.
that's what's going on. Like it's slowly turning into a compatible growth organ.
It's gonna like pop out of there and walk away. It's weird as hell what's going
Like the
on.
chest burster.
Oh, I know it, Daniel. Yes, I heard Robert Picardo will be back as the EMH in Starfleet Academy. So the question is, PDB, how will they make him a deadbeat dad? It will probably be the backup holo doctor from the Voyager episode Living Witness. Oh. Daniel's better at this than they are. But yeah, Living Witness is a good episode.
Premise.
I have a feeling that they won't be able to pull that off. Jerry Ryan might tell them. Although she's not in that episode. She might have just been on vacation that week.
Yeah.
Or no, wait,
Well, it
she's in
does fit the
episode for
time
1
frame.
minute. Does. Were they like, why do you have a fucking Vulcan with you? Or they didn't let that one go? All the Klingons.
I
are
doubt they
friendly
cared
with
enough to
Jonathan
notice.
Davis. I like Jonathan Davis's comment.
Kapla!
All the Klingons are pregnant for sure. Well, they certainly act like it.
And Cyrus shall return to us.
That was one
She's
hell of
willing
an
to lie on his
exaggeration.
behalf. That's honestly better. Like she actually has his interests at heart. That she's like Vulcans do not lie, but we will exaggerate if it's suitable for diplomacy. You know.
They'll do some gamesmanship like prevarication.
Yeah, it
Although
seems
we
like
see some Vulcans who are
uh,
pretty much fucking lying at that listening post.
That's true. It seems to me that Vulcan ethics are nothing but an incredibly long series of unprincipled exceptions. It's like Vulcans do not laugh or smile, but we do tell jokes. It's like, come on.
Let's enjoy Archer's theme while we talk
It's a
about
good
the
song.
episode. Cyrus seems to have dropped out. He might be down in engineering. So I guess Resolute Germ, you signed on first. What do you think, man? How'd you like this episode? You watched it again. How do you enjoy it?
That's pretty funny. I'd give it a barely hits B for me. B minus. Right there in between C plus and B minus.
You know what? You might have something there. I mean, it is like a B. It's like it's better than how many? What percentage of Deep Space Nine episodes would you say this is better than?
Probably 30%.
You really think that 70% of Deep Space Nine is better than this? We just watched 2 absolutely cringe episodes that were just about this far along in the run. Do you think at least what's their accomplishment here? Then they're getting the shows out of the box cleaner because this show's functional.
Yeah,
no
Enterprise
characters.
Enterprise definitely gets out and running a lot cleaner than any of the other shows, but it never reaches the same heights. So after the first season and a half, DS9 really hits its stride, and they don't fall to any real great chasm in quality.
Guys, go ahead and give us your ideas. What I'm going to try to do is get to the pop out chat that I made so that I can close the first poll and let people see how people think. You know what? 21 votes. Listen to this, guys. Is Enterprise in general better than you remember? Now we're up to episode 5, story 4. Get this. Yes, better, 67%. No worse, 10%. About the same, 24%. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to really quickly do another one. Rate, grade,
Yeah, sounds about right
unexpected.
to me.
What, as far as people's feelings? I would say it breaks down right along the
It
amount of
is a pretty
episodes that are
goofy
improved.
episode. It's a comedy, you know. As a pure comedy episode, it does suffer a little because the core joke is, I think, stretched a little thin. But it is a pretty good episode, you know, and
It
it has a certain innocence to it, even.
Right. You know what? It does have an innocence to it. Gorilla, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's one of those. I'm pretty sure I've seen this trope played out quite a few times there, but it's not like one of those overly used tropes, if that makes sense. Where a man
Yeah,
gets pregnant,
no.
it's all played for a lot, half. There, though, I don't think that though as different as the species are there, I don't think we will Trip in real life could really acclimated to being on that ship. With
It
it's
took
how
them a
different the
while.
environments are. But I don't think that we can adapt to be on a ship like that without major intervention.
I guess their technology is superior to ours because they're able to like put them into some kind of decompression tank. And
Yeah.
this show has obsessed a couple of times on people breathing. Remember in Broken Bow, Trip's like about to be a Florida man and starts yelling at some lady, and she's like, "Stop! It's natural for them to do that. They're like whatever they
Yeah,
are. They only breathe
breathe like
ether until they're 5
yeah,
years old." She's
methyl
weaning it.
oxide or something. Yeah. How would something like that
Turned out to be
evolve?
ether.
Like, does their planet's atmosphere change when you're 5, or what?
No, I think their planet's atmosphere is always ether, but they are versatile enough to breathe other atmospheres. So they
Okay.
themselves have learned this. So she's strengthening her child, making him a better space
Because she's
traveler.
off world.
Right.
Yeah, she
And
was
she's
weaning
making
him
him
off
better
of a thing.
so
But
that he
it's
could
part
be
of
able
their
to
native
breathe.
atmosphere. All right.
Think about like a tadpole that becomes a frog, except that he stays in his human form, but his internal organs are starting to mature and change in a great many ways. So it's
I wish
like
we had more aliens that metamorphosized extremely like that, like an alien who's like after middle age has like only after middle age has like the forehead ridges or like grows a tail or claws or it turns into a salamander or something.
soon type robots put on lots of weight.
But that's just a production budget excuse because they can't have an actor who doesn't age. It's not possible
And
yet.
they could have put his face on a younger actor with clowning skills, someone like Jonathan Majors. And I guess we'll close off our thoughts about this one, and the other stream will be going on late. It's just a continuation of this stream cleanly.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Let's do roundtable. We took
Yeah,
Joe, you gave your thoughts, did you? Or I'm a bad host here. Has anyone given their thoughts yet?
Yeah, I give my thoughts here. I wanted to say welcome to the man of many words, Cody Guy.
Hey, thank you for
Hello.
that. Yes, Cody Guy. Welcome, Cody Guy. We're going to go over the other stream once we close this one down because we had that bad bot attack last week that it was a drag. It was a drag. We lost hundreds of views. They crystalline entity'd my engagement. And it was a little upsetting and insulting because we knew that over the course of 2 episodes, we did the normal number that we always do. But because of that weird swarm, we lost everything we did. So we're going to compartmentalize to try to stay out of trouble. And so, okay, Gorilla gave his thoughts. PDB, did you speak of this one yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and Germ?
It's goofy, it's a little clumsy, but it also has a certain naivete about it, and so it's ultimately, honestly, kind of refreshing. Like, it never feels mean-spirited. The episode is only like a few % at Trip's expense. Mostly, it's just about what it is. It's not actually
we take
putting him
classic
down.
pregnancy tropes and put them onto Trip class and females are pregnant in our society, in our race, right? Or in our species until now, I guess, but whatever. We'll talk about that one later. Gee, I wonder why YouTube hates us. But honestly, it was a quality story. I found it enjoying and engaging. And honestly, like sense of wonder reinstilled, good job with that one. With the first half of this episode was like sense of wonder reinstilled. And the second half was when they got yelled at about, and we don't want these self-important episodes anymore. So they tried to be fucking funny. You know what I mean? Like, think about something like the 33s where they play that like it's for real, or 37s where they play that like where it's for real.
Yeah.
Or Distant Origin where you had to really like Star Trek to appreciate what was going on in there. You know what I mean?
That one wouldn't have worked outside of Star Trek. I don't think it would have worked in another space opera. Yeah.
Distant Origin, it was so weird, and you like
it was interesting.
It was interesting, but it was weird. I found it interesting, and then whatever they redo the same thing with
dinosaurs having a Galileo allegory is crazy.
Which that would say that again?
Dinosaurs having a Galileo allegory is crazy, right?
Yes, I agree. Yeah. See, you say a lot of really intelligent things that I have to look up later. Like, I found out what imposter syndrome is today, and I self-diagnosed with it.
Do you really even think you're good enough to have imposter syndrome, though?
I lack the competence to make that judgment. I leave it to the rest of you. Which means that I might be good enough to make that judgment and that I have imposter syndrome because it shows that I'm competent, correct? But yeah, you know what? Star Trek Sweet Child of Mine is the only way I can put it. This one was weird, but it was fun. They didn't go as far as David Lynch. They didn't go a bit too far in a few places, except for that alien that kind of Me Too's tripping. Isn't that a little bit funny? And wow, we got two people already waiting over on the other show. And you know what, PDB? I know you're going to love this one. That's no shell.
It's no shell. Look who's sparking now.
You know what, guys? Here's what I'm going to do. In the description for this episode, just in case anyone gets confused, because sometimes the chat goes away right afterwards, I will put it in the chat as well. But here's the in the description for the for this episode. I'm going to put the I'm going to put the link for the next one. So just give me a second here to do a little bit editing, and then I'll put it in the chat as well. But I want it in the link, and then like I guess this will work out good. And what I can do is I can go and then I can cut out these discussions at the end and the beginning where we set up the episodes, and we can have like maybe I don't know Admiral Teag short takes. But I want to thank everybody who hung out with us for a decent amount of time here, enough to justify the way we dressed. I'm sorry that I dressed my channel like such a tramp. I really am. My thumbnails got me here. I fail to resonate with that one. I'm trying my best to overcome several different problems that have been thrown at me by the powers that be. I mean, this is YouTube these days. They failed to give me the proper answers. They told me it's the way I was dressed. I guess I'm going to have to make different thumbnails so they can't come at me again. So coming soon, less interesting thumbnails. I guess they have to be really plain because I found really good ones. Every thumbnail from Enterprise, every episode of Enterprise is a thumbnail that looks like a movie poster. So I guess I'll just tweet them out after this. But
I like the collage. It's fun to see all the floating heads.
By the way, I want to say Jonathan Davis says something here that's very, very key in Star Trek, by the way. He doesn't really like it, but they did it very well.
Yeah.
And that is very true. And like something that you should consider, about this. It's like when we see these terrible episodes of Star Trek, you know what? Wrong banner. Let's see. Where's the one where I tell people to like and follow me? Like that's the thing that I like to do, but you should do those other things. And hey, look at my new Star Wars one for the Acolyte.
Oh, thread on me.
They changed the force to the fucking thread. But guys, please like, share, and follow. Hopefully, people will watch later, and we'll get a nice popping number on this. But in the chat, and let me make sure I've got and shout outs will be at the end of the next chat. Okay. And I'm sorry, Princess Fiona. It's never nice to leave a lady waiting. I feel so bad. If you could just let me off the hook on this one, it's because of what happened last week, and because I am committed. Hey, Lockton Han, what's going on, man? The Woke Awakens. Yeah, you know what? The Woke came after us last week. We did great. We have a really, really good episode here. There's the link to the next one, guys. I'm also like, if everybody wants to cut and paste that and just like, or just go to my page and you'll see the next one. We're gonna like shut this one down, and then we're just gonna open up another one. All you on X, we love you. Not a lot of questions from X. And then we'll try to focus more on chat. And if they get us on the next one, they get us. But guys, I gotta call this one an unqualified success. We got out of this one compartmentalized with no bot swarm. I'm so happy about it. And it's the page is it's my page. So if you go to the Admiral Teag link, it'll bring you, and just go to live. It's the next one. It's going to go live in a couple of minutes. Here's the link again at the bottom of the chat. That should bring you right there. I'm pretty sure that's it, at least. I tried to get it right. Let me look at it again.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, thank you, PDV. I was re-verifying. All right, guys. We love you all. Enjoy the end of the Admiral Teag stream. This is our little our wonderful moment of transfer music where I do limited shout outs and everyone jumps into the other studio, which I have to jump into first for a moment to get the pass to give to my wonderful friends. And you see, guys, I really want to thank everyone who's helping me out here with understanding that this is not an easy produce anymore because of the way things have been going down. But based on the fact that we went past 1040 without a lot of problems, I have this funny feeling that just maybe, and I'm putting in the private chat now, the pass. So everybody jump over there, my friends, and we will play the outro. Use the pass as the outro comes up. We love you all. And I guess we got to just ask a question.
What does God need with a starship?
Hey, I'm gonna be in and out here for the next.
Sorry, what's going on? What's going on, buddy?
I'll be out. I'm gonna be in and out here for the next 5-10 minutes.
Use the pass to go to the other studio, but I will be redistributing them when I get a chance as the episode rolls. But it's it's kind of a heavy lift for me producing wise, but I'm going to do my best, guys. I love you all. And everybody head on over to the other show while we play a little thing I created called the Saving Star Trek thing. And it's what I found out is I can turn on my mic and talk over the video to shout people out. But I did some editing here. So it's just a 2-minute shout out for everybody to reorient and find the other stream. And then, guys, when you get over to the other studio, would you do me the very great honor of tweeting out the stream and stuff off the browser from YouTube so we can get the excitement going? And this is not something that's been done before where we try to escape and do it again. But Admiral Teag has a cloaking device, and we're engaging it now. I love you all. Here we go.
Incoming transmission.